Right.
And he just turning at me and he said, "Oh, can you sing this one?"
Right.
Like during the gig. And as,
Hello, Prague Junkies. We got something to feed your addiction today. We have with us today Alberto Pravin, lead singer and more for one of our favorite bands, Big Big Train. Alberto joins us to talk about his history right up until the likes of us, the newest album from Big Big Train. So join us here on Music in Widescreen Interview Edition. Alberto, it's great to have you here. Thank you so much for
hello.
spending some time with us. We're huge fans, my wife and I. Just to give you, this is not an interview about me, but let me just give you a little bit of my background.
Yeah,
I'm from Chicago. I flew to see Big Big Train
nice.
in 2015 and 17. I saw 3 times I flew across an ocean to see this band. So, and I'm sure you've heard stories of that. Did you feel? Let me pull back a little bit. Let me get your origin story, and then which would include PFM, joining PFM and Big
Yeah,
Big Train. How's that sound?
yeah.
Okay.
Well, the thing was with PFM was I had a band called Sinestesia or Sinestesia, if you want to call it.
Yeah, that's the English
And
version.
yeah, and I was just back from London. I used to live in London for a couple of years in early 2000, and I got back to my city, Trieste, that it's my town where I'm
Mm-hmm.
living now, and I was the band already existed, and they had like a big gig in the main square here,
Mm-hmm.
and they were opening for Carl Palmer
Mm.
that night. So and the keyboard player just left.
Mm.
So I was just back in town, and they asked me like, "Can you do this? Can you join us on this gig?" And I was all right, okay. And it was really complicated gig because it was like really progressive metal, rock metal, progressive stuff with really difficult stuff. So, but I had a diploma in singing, but actually my main job was the keyboard player for bands and
Right.
and stuff. So that night, the festival there was a 3-day festival. It was one night was Carl Palmer, the other night was PFM,
Mm.
and the third night I can't remember. And but actually, it was organized by by PFM. It was a
Right.
3-night festival organized by PFM. So Franz Di Cioccio, that is the drummer and the leader of PFM, was
Right.
there that night, and so we just went there with our little demo, and and we said, "Hello, we are Sinestesia, and this is our music," and just we gave him our CD, and just saying, "All right," He said, "Thank you, bye bye," and never. But actually, after like a week, he just called us
Mm.
and he said, like, "Oh, this is really interesting. Come to Milano
Mm.
and let's talk about it." And actually, he produced two of our albums, and then after that, so we collaborated for a couple of years.
Mm-hmm.
Then actually the band not split up, but we stopped because everybody had different things.
Mm-hmm.
And then PFM, the main guitar player Franco Musida, that was the main guitar player of PFM and one of the leaders of the band, just left, and they were looking for a new guitar player, of course, but actually they needed also a guy because their guitar player was singing too.
Mm-hmm.
So they were looking for someone that could sing and play a little keyboard, playing a little guitar, and do a
Mm.
little bit of everything.
Yeah.
And
You just find those guys everywhere, right?
yeah, everywhere, yeah. And so and so they called me and they said like, we have this a couple of days of rehearsals if you want to come to see if we have fun together.
Mhm.
The fact that I didn't know that the guitar player was Marcos Fogli, that it's like a guitar player that he played with James Labrie from Dream Theater, and he's playing with Virgil Donati, and I mean, and I was a huge fan. I mean, it was like wow, that's great, and I didn't know, and I just met him in the rehearsal room. Oh, this is the guitar player. Oh, hello.
Right.
And actually, we are best friends. I mean, we really connected back there, and I mean, it was really fun. It was fun because the PFM, it's a really rock and roll gig. Like old school kind of gig, and so it was like, all right, what I have to do for the rehearsals, and they said, we don't know. Okay, we'll see at the rehearsals. Okay,
Right.
but what I have to play, I mean, the keyboards, the guitar, I have to
That'd be
sing.
helpful.
And they said, we'll see at the rehearsals. Okay, oh, well, which songs?
Oh, right.
Have a look to all the songs. All right. So
Let me summarize here real quick. Every instrument and every song. That's what you need to learn.
I mean, I didn't do it, but I mean, I watched a couple of set lists that they had, like on
Right.
that on those days,
Right.
and I try to imagine what they would need from me in those, but actually it changed, like in the first 3-4 gigs, everything changed. And I remember, I think one of the first gigs, Franz was coming down from the drums and going on the front to sing a song,
Right.
and he just turning at me, and he said, "Oh, can you sing this one?"
Right.
Like during the gig. And I said, all right. Fortunately, I studied that song, so I said, yes, okay, I can do it, and I sang it like from that day to the last day. So
Oh.
I mean, and it was Mr. 9 till 5. I don't know if you know the song, but it's a like a one of the most difficult songs to sing, and
Yes.
but
Sure.
I mean, it was fun. It was really, I learned a lot from that. And
What year is that, if I could cut you off? About what time are we talking?
2015.
15.
Yeah.
So did I see you sing in Chicago at Reggie's and
Oh yeah, I was there.
oh, okay. It just hit me. I'm like, oh my gosh.
You were there?
I was there.
Regis, what a
Yeah.
place.
Yeah. It's close
That
to my
is.
house.
All right, that is beautiful. Well, it was my first time in Chicago, and we almost lost the flight because we went to eat the dip dish.
Uh-huh. Yeah.
And so we and we didn't know that you have to wait
And it's an
like
hour.
40 minutes,
Yeah.
like to get it. So we were there. We were missing the flight.
Oh my gosh. It's
Oh,
great,
yeah,
but not worth missing a flight for. Do you remember which restaurant you went to?
We went to
That's okay. Just
well,
curious.
the I mean the famous one.
Well, there's a couple. Pizza Uno would be the first one.
No.
Lou Malnati's.
No.
Then it would be. Hopefully, it was. I'll have to think about that. But there's some good ones. Oh, you're gonna look? Okay.
I remember Gino's East.
Oh, Gino's East. That's good. Great.
It is one of the most famous.
Yeah.
I think. All right. Okay. Cool.
Yeah, that's good.
Because I remember that it was like, I mean, it was a fake name, I think, but from How I Met Your Mother.
Right.
Do you know the series? The
Yeah,
series,
yeah.
they go to Chicago to have the best pizza ever. And so I remember, I think it was like Giordano's, or it was like a fake name. But
Yeah.
I think it was Genus East,
Okay.
the connection there. And I said, I'm Chicago, I have to go
Right.
there to try
Great.
this. It was
Great.
delicious, actually. It was a dish. It was an experience.
Right. Awesome. Awesome. It's this. It's late. I'm glad we had that Chicago connection to talk about what you have won't be able to talk about with anybody else. Let me get you. I'll get you back onto the scene here
Yeah,
now. So you're.
yeah,
So we're doing your origin story, and we're
yeah.
talking about So you've been asked to sing a song at right prior to the song being played, and so
Yeah.
this is your PFM experience. They're like, oh.
Yeah.
We've never done this before. Why don't you just sing this one? and
I
so
mean,
it worked
yeah.
out well, huh?
It worked, yeah. But I mean, I have a background. I mean, before PFM,
Right.
before I was in London, I played locally. I started playing in front of people like when I was 13 or 12. I don't know, something like that, in local bands and stuff. So I mean, I have a background of playing like in every place that you can imagine, and in front of five people or in
Yeah.
front of hundred or thousands or whatever. So I mean, I have I'm sort of used to survive in some
Well,
way to the.
you have to know the
And it,
lyrics, though. I mean,
I
you
mean,
only
yeah,
survive
yeah.
so long.
I mean, you have to know the lyrics to sing, yeah. But I mean, and it was like a thing that I discussed previously on. It was like a couple of days ago on
Okay.
another interview.
Right.
We discussed about it. I mean that it's the new generation. Like I'm 40 now.
Mhm.
I'm from the 80s, and I
Right.
mean we are I think the last generation in between the analog world and the digital world, because
Right.
I mean, we have the cassettes and we have the VHS and we had no cell phones, but
Right.
we lived in the digital world,
Mhm.
and but also we had the experience. We remember the experience to go out and play, and not playing in front of a camera in the room on Zoom or YouTube or stuff. So
Right.
I mean, my generation, and I'm sounding old now, but
I got you by
but
I
I mean,
got you by 10, 15. I got you by 15
I,
years. So
but our
yeah. Yeah.
generation knows about that. So about the going to play in weird places and wrong places and have the wrong audience and have the whatever. But we survived, and we I mean and we had that experience, and I think we can survive now, because all right, we did the old way, so now the new way, I'm not saying that it's easier, but I mean, you can do it your own. Back then you had to
Right.
go out and do it.
Right.
And so so the PFM experience on that particular moment, it was
Right.
like and in that moment we build trust
Right.
between each other, because Franz knew that he could trust me asking me to
Mhm.
sing a song
Right.
on the spot. And so I think it was a great experience from that moment.
Well, that's awesome. I mean, because obviously, um, this is a band with decades of experience, and you kind of came in
Yeah,
there and played this very pivotal role that probably would
yeah.
have been a step down had they not had you there. So that's awesome to see or to hear about, actually. And then let's segue into the big train and how that happened and how that's different.
Well, that happened in actually. I played in London with PFM in 2015. So I
Okay.
mean, right before, I think it was 2015 in Chicago. I
Yes.
think,
Okay.
because it was our first. I think a first tour, I think, or maybe not. Maybe it was the second. I can't remember.
You
But
played in May, by the way. At
yeah,
that
it was.
helps you.
Well, in 2015 we played in London and in Camden Town, and actually Gregory Spotten was
Right.
there at the gig.
Yes.
And he just wrote down my name, but he actually didn't know my name. He said, like, I think he wrote like I don't know, a PFM young
Singer, yeah.
singer or
Yeah,
something like
guitar
that,
player.
or keyboard player.
Keyboard,
So,
yeah.
I don't know. So, and but he was thinking about like a solo project or something, and he was just writing down people to make collaborations with and to play with. That never happened.
Right.
And when David's tragedy happened, he was I was there in his smartphone, I think, in the
Right.
list. And he just your cat wants to go out.
I know. I'm debating
I
if I
have, I
if
have
I
mine.
oh, he
So
had he had your name.
he had my name, and
Yeah.
actually when they were thinking about auditioning people, I was on the list, and he sent me an email and asked me if I was aware of the band. Of course I was. I was a fan of the band. I mean,
Okay, you were. I mean,
I was. Yeah.
it's tough. It's tough to actually be in a band and then kind of consume other music, you know. So
Yeah, well, yeah, but I mean, I was aware of what happened.
right.
I would,
Okay.
I mean, but of course, Greg asked me, so he didn't
Right.
know,
Right.
and then he explained what they were looking for, and if I wanted to audition, and of course I said, well, yes, I mean, I can try, and.
Yeah.
And that went well.
Yeah, obviously, yeah. And it's going well in general. I'm probably one of the very few Americans to have seen you perform at two 2 days Prog Plus One. So
All right, okay, you were there.
I was there for that as well.
Cool.
We don't screw around with Big Big Train. We go and see it. And of course, you're going to be playing 100 miles from me, and
Yeah.
I'm going to be at Prague Fusion in the Midlands of the UK. So I'm going to miss the show that actually is near me.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Ah!
But so
That's funny.
it's great that you're coming to America. Of course, you've got Buffalo show for America and Canada, and actually the New Jersey shows.
Hope so.
You could actually that's not that far from Canada. I drove from Montreal to New Jersey just recently. So there's a lot of options for people in the northeast of America and east of Canada.
Yeah, we like the Buffalo gig will be also for the Canadians.
Yeah, it will.
I hope so. This time we couldn't go to Canada. It was a nightmare with a logistical nightmare. So it was
right.
Couldn't go. Yeah.
Let's keep it positive because you're here. You're coming,
absolutely.
and we're happy for you. People will go and see you guys, and and let me thank you for all Americans and North Americans. Thank you for actually doing this, because we know it's not like this is not a pot of gold at the end of this thing. It's probably the opposite. I know it is because I've tour managed for other bands. So let me just say thank you, and because it's not just money, it's your time and away from family and everything. So but we really appreciate. I know you enjoy it on this when you get there on stage, but it's definitely not like a win all the way. It's not 100% a win for every aspect of this thing.
Well, absolutely. Well, you said it well. I mean, the touring life, it is a job, like another job, because the playing, the 2 hours playing, that is the fun. That you can do it for free. I don't.
Right.
I mean, that it's the fun part.
Right.
The job is being professional, of course. I mean, that is. Right. But you are away from your family. Right. You have difficult schedules in most of the time, and if you well, if you were touring with the tour bus, it is a little bit easier because it's I mean, you sleep in the bus, so you're playing, you can go to sleep or have a party or whatever you, but you don't have to wake up early. If not for the borders, actually, because the borders, like in UK or Switzerland, you have to wake up at, I don't know, 3 in the morning with a passport, and it's
and the carnet.
crazy. But I mean, with PFM, I toured US and South America and whatever with flights, and that it's exhausting. It is crazy because you play, you go to the hotel for a couple of hours, refresh, and then you go straight to the airport, and then you get a flight, and then you are in another city. I mean, it's crazy. I mean, it's crazy. It's beautiful. It's fantastic, but it's hard. It is not an easy job.
Right, and let's not forget, you're taking time away from your family rehearsing for this thing. It's not like you could just get on stage and play.
Well, no, it's all the year.
Yeah,
I mean, I'm rehearsing for because of course you have to know your parts and remember lyrics and whatever. I'm not. I don't have a good memory, so I have to work hard. Yeah, I have to work hard on lyrics and to be on spot.
So let's talk about the album. I kind of got you on a couple of side streak things, but it's such interesting stories so far. I haven't wanted to go ahead and get into it just yet. Let's first of all talk about your role. I just want to make sure that everybody knows. Most people do, but sometimes the vocalist gets pigeonholed as being the vocalist, and they're the vocalist only, and maybe there's a song, maybe they're writing the lyrics. But let's actually flesh out your role, which I know is you're still kind of a jack of all trades in the band. What are you doing in the band? Let's talk about that.
Well, I wrote a couple of songs on the album and co-wrote with Greg a couple of stuff, and I took care of the most of the vocal arrangements for all the songs, and actually I mixed the album with Rob Aubrey, with our sound engineer, and that was an experience. I mean, it was a fantastic experience because one, Rob is the guy, and but I have a background also as a sound engineer, and I toured and doing front of house engineer for bands for a lot of years. So I have that. I'm a audio nerd kind of guy, and so I really love to do that. And I mean, and the mixing process of an album like this one that has a lot of elements. Although we recorded the album in a room together, so there was like a limit, like a sort of like a artistic limit that we put. So we have 2 hands each, and that's it. And so whatever you're listening on the album, it's what we played. And of course, there was a couple of overdubs and stuff, like doing other stuff later. But the 99% of what you're hearing is done from people playing in room together. So and not putting more stuff or overdubs or parts that we cannot play live. So that it was so mixing the album, you don't have like 5 guitars playing. You have just 2 guitars, not doubled, 2 parts, different parts. So in a Genesis way. So there's no power chords. There is just there's always stuff going on, or arpeggios, or doing stuff. So I mean, yeah, the mixing thing was great, and it was really nice to, with Rob, to push each other to try to do a little bit more, and I think we achieved a good result, and we are so proud.
Yeah, it should be. It's a great album. What if I said this is for fans of Trick of the Tail? Would you kind of say it might be that kind of sound? Because when I hear some of the guitar sounds and
Yeah.
the mellotrons, I think of that kind of Hackett era Genesis.
Well, I mean, Genesis, of course, it's one of the bigger thing for the BB Train sound, always been. And I remember we had a call with me, Rob Aubrey, and Greg, and me and Rob we were taking care of the mix. So we asked Greg. We said, "Well, how do you want it to sound?" And he said, like Genesis in 1973.
Oh, okay. Well, there you go.
That was the only note that he said to us. Well, I mean, and I said, well, maybe we can do a little bit more.
Well, that's interesting. It seems like Genesis has a big following in Italy. I think the first country that Genesis went #1 was Italy, and that particular album. So it seems when I hear,
that album, it's one of the most sound wise. It's one of the best sounding albums of all time for me. I mean, it is at least in the progressive or in the rock world of the 70s. I mean, I can say that. I can say Thick as Brick, Jethro Tull. I mean, that album is crazy. It sounds like amazing. It's like it is recorded right now. It's so clean. It's so perfect. And I mean, there is a lot of albums that back in the days they were so surgical in some way, but at the same time there is the dirt. Yeah, there is the dirt there. There is like there was no editing. There was no It was just played. I mean, so it is really it is Genesis. It's an inspiration for Baby Train. It still is. Right. I mean, the band is different now, of course, but that is the roots are there, and as instruments, I mean, 12 strings guitar, mellotron. Yeah. I mean that's the sound. I mean. Right. And do you have any thoughts? I'm not a sound engineer. I know I just know what I like about music. I don't play an instrument or anything, just a fan. Yeah. Does it have anything to do with the fact that they really only had 8 tracks back then? And so ultimately tracks were shared, instruments shared a track? Or is it a byproduct of that era about having it has to be exact, because once you merge those 2 tracks together, you're kind of stuck there. I mean, granted, you're going to have the track of it on its own, but you kind of have to. You'll have to do it again. Yeah. Absolutely. I mean, if you look at the Beatles, they were on 4 tracks. Right. Right. And they daisy changed their 4 tracks so they could merge it into 1 track. Well, yeah. Well, the thing was that for the first albums they played together, and it was I think it was like just recorded what it was. I mean, right. But they commit to something, and that it was like, okay, so they recorded the song, and then they took the drums and they put it on 1 track. Right. Then on another track they recorded the bass. Right. They put the bass. They mix the bass with the drums, and they put the bass on 1 track. Right. So they have still 3 tracks, and and they go on and on and on. Yeah, exactly. And I mean, and that thing, that committing to one thing, it's sounding, sometimes it's sounding weird, because sometimes you can hear like the tambourine on the Beatles songs. You have the tambourine and there's no drums.
Right.
It just disappeared because they committed, and all right, it's we can't hear the drums. I'm sorry. So we put the tambourine. So
Gotcha.
so I mean, it was but that is the also that technical limit. It was also I think a musical limit that they had, and so they pushed the boundaries as much as they can to do the best thing that they can at the time. And so I mean that it is always there. And the thing that you of course now with Pro Tools and Logic or whatever you use, I mean, you can have like 1,000 tracks. You can do whatever you want, and there's nothing, and it's great. You don't have tape anymore. Well, of course it's better. I mean, it was a nightmare. It's just to go to do editing or cut the thing. You have to cut the tape. Now you have everything recorded, and you can record whatever you want. Like, oh, what did we do 1 week ago? Oh, we have we saved that. And you can listen to that. So I mean, that is great. But I mean, it is sometimes you go in a musical loop and in a production loop where you adding stuff. Right. That maybe you don't need that. And the thing that, talking about the album, I mean, we were in a room together and we played together, and whatever choice, the choices were made there together. So, I mean, and it was so easy to ask. I mean, I don't know. I could ask Nick DiVirgilio, can you do it on the ride cymbal and not on a hi-hat? Yes. And he did it. Right. I mean, if I was at home, I had to send an email to Nick DiVirgilio, and he had to read the email and then record it again and send it to me. And it's a month.
Exactly.
I mean, so, and also in the arrangements and in the vibe of the song, I mean, we could just all right, let's play it slower, or let's play it quieter, or let's do it more aggressive, or let's do a mellotron or this guitar, or change the guitar, or change the snare. Right. But you just do it on the spot in the moment. Right. And I think you can hear it in the album. I mean, the vocals too. The vocals that you hear are 3 or 4 passing, like 3-4 takes of the entire songs. Right. Just a comp of takes. There was no the syllables or that kind of stuff, and we left it as it is. Right.
Well, let me ask you this, because the lyrics are. Let's talk a little bit about the lyrics, because when I hear the lyrics, especially light left in the day and oblivion, it seems a bit somber. And I do want to. There's a show in England that was called Last of the Summer Wine, and it's a kind of a metaphor for the last good days of your life. And it kind of sounds a little bit, when I hear light left in the day, I feel it's like it's the same metaphor. Is this album really about the frailty of the human condition, or just maybe just loving every day like it's your last? Or what would you kind of say to that?
Well, yeah. I mean, this time is personal. Like the album is personal. The BB Train albums were a little bit more about history, or about legends, or about people. Like, so it was like in third person. Right. This time it is personal, because it is like the lyrics are about us, about the likes of us. I mean, and that it's not just us as the band, but
Right.
it's just us as people.
Right.
And we are talking about it's not like we're talking, as you said, like to live your days at the best that you
Hmm.
can,
Hmm.
and also we're talking about um, issues or situations where I think everybody once just had they had the situation.
Right.
Losing someone.
Hmm.
Uh, that it's of course a theme that we are talking about, or have a delusion,
Hmm.
or I'm in Love Is the Light. I'm talking about depression. That it's a
Hmm.
thing that everybody maybe sometimes they had, or they didn't know,
Right.
or they have, and they don't know how to solve it, or how to get out of them there. So
Hmm.
it is a thing. The theme, the overall theme, it is, as the title, the likes of us, we are actually at this point of the band, we are actually uh, together. uh,
Hmm.
we are together in this situation,
Hmm.
and we tried the best that we could to make the best album possible.
Hmm.
But we are together, the band and the audience. We are on the same on the same
Right.
boat.
Right.
Because we don't know how people will react to the album,
Right.
and people, they don't know how the album will be.
Right.
So it is, it is personal, and it's really deep, and I hope, anyway, I think we needed, uh, the band needed to tell and to write about this.
Certainly, with especially, I mean, you come in a very difficult portion, right? I mean, Dave, was such so iconic. There was a very real thought about not continuing, and now so
Mhm.
here you come in, and it's not a great situation in the best the best to replace lead singer under these circumstances. Um, I actually have a lot of empathy for you, and I was thinking about that when I saw you in Bruno about how this has
Yeah.
got to be really tough in a lot of ways for you because you know Big Train had this had this kind of had this not honestly resurgence, their first surgence, when he joined the band with him, Nick and Greg, right?
Yeah.
Um, not Greg, guitar player from Peter Gabriel.
Ricard.
No, he was a Gabriel. I can't think of it. Boy, it's awful.
When in Big Train, you
In
say?
Big Train, yeah.
Dave Gregory, or?
Dave, thank you.
Okay.
Yeah. So they had this kind of like they were kind of obscure, kind of local band, and then
Yeah,
when Dave joined the band, it kind of skyrocketed, right? And then
of course. Yeah.
he's not here, and now so you're like I said, he was kind of uh, the reason that the band kind of went from this kind of mediocre band to this big band, and now
Yeah.
he's not here.
Yeah.
And so, how is that for you? I mean, it seems insurmountable to me.
Well, at first it was, of course, difficult and tough, because the first tour that we did in 2022, it
Mhm.
was, that was a big question mark.
Yep.
We didn't know what to expect,
Right.
and the people didn't know. So it was like, all right, let's do this. I prepared like like a crazy guy, and but there it was like, eh, we needed the right balance to, I think, play like an homage, like
Sure.
like a tribute, a sort of a tribute
Yeah.
to David,
Right.
and keep going with new stuff. And that was tricky because, of course, if you're trying to mimic the thing, it could sound like a cover band.
Right.
And
Right.
that,
And I
but
want to say that when I saw it,
yeah,
I was like, okay,
yeah.
this guy's not trying to mimic at all. Definitely,
No,
it's his own voice, and
yeah,
that's what you have to do. You're going to move forward with songs that he didn't sing on, and so
yeah.
you can't.
Well,
Yeah.
absolutely. And this was also the choice of the band to pick like a guy like me,
Right.
that I am really different from David. I mean,
Yeah.
from an age point of view, from nationality, the culture, and
Right.
whatever, different person, and vocally, of course, we are different, and so yeah, the first tour was psychologically was a lot of pressure because, of course, you have no idea what to expect. And I remember the first night, we played the first song, and actually after the first song, everybody was standing and clapping and smiling or crying or whatever they was doing. And I turned to Greg and I said, I think we got it. I think we can do this. And so we did it.
Okay.
The last tour in 2023, that was a little bit more relaxed for me because people knew me a little bit more. They got used to me and the new band, actually, because this is not just me.
Right.
I mean, I am the singer, but there was Oscar, the keyboard player. There was Claire on the violin. On that tour, we have Maria on the guitar, but we have Dave Foster on the guitar. So it is a new band, and so I actually this last time I could enjoy more and just be me and just try to do my best and make it a little bit more my own. So just grabbing the stage and just let's do it and do it together and get emotional when we have to when we have to do it, and let's rock when we have to rock, and I mean yeah, it was fun, and it will be. I mean, now we have new material that it's not songs that David sang on it. So I mean that it's a new and another step to, all right, this is a new thing. This is songs this new songs. So I mean there will be comparisons forever. I mean I love it because I mean I was a fan of the band. I was a fan of David. David was an amazing talent, and that voice, it's like it's giving me goosebumps every time.
Well, there's the songwriting too in that era,
and the songwriting. I mean, there is incredible songs that he wrote, and I mean, it was, and it's such an honor to sing those songs and to get to feel the emotion and trying to make it my own in a way that can, of course, paying tribute to what he've done, but in another way. And it's not a thing of I don't know, like an ego thing or something. It's just to be able to sing those songs in the right way. You need to be in a right situation and make it your own. Because it's the only way, because they are so beautiful and so deep sometimes that if you're not visualizing what you're saying, it is really difficult to make the right interpretation of the song, and
But
so
great.
that's what I'm trying to do.
It comes back to the, are you a cover band or an artist, right? So
Exactly.
yeah, and
It
you
is.
don't want to be trying to do the exact same syncopation as David, and
No,
if it
no.
doesn't work for you or it doesn't feel natural, and
Yeah.
and as we talk about the new album
Sorry.
a little bit here, let me get you a little bit more of the new album here, so we can let you be on your day. Is there there's a lot of harmonizing on this album. So and Nick DiVirgilio, it seems like he can always harmonize. He can harmonize with everybody. And of course,
Oh yeah.
I've heard his last two albums with Jennings
Oh,
and Morris.
beautiful. Beautiful.
So now it's like this harmonies up and down this whole album, and it really does sound great. Was there any? How did that come to be? Did it just come naturally? Or was there a conscious decision to do that more, or what? It just seems
I
like
mean,
a difference.
I mean, having other four singers,
Yeah,
because they're not just vocalists.
yeah,
I mean, there are four singers, like
yeah,
great.
yeah.
Oh, that's my cat who want to go out. Yeah, she's gone. But I mean, having four singers, it was a pleasure to write and to write those harmonies. I'm a huge fan of vocal harmonies,
Hmm.
and so I tried to do the best that I could, and also I mean, we recorded most of the harmonies to get. Also, those are recorded in a room together, like with five microphones
Hmm.
facing each other,
Oh wow.
and that it's like an amazing experience, and yeah, but also if you listen, there is a couple of spots where everybody has a lead
Oh,
singing part.
right.
So that it was my a thing that I wanted to do, and I mean it is beautiful having those vocals, those voices to write for. Yeah.
Right, right. I mean, it's great. You've got, like you said, you got four legitimate singers.
Oh
It'd
yeah.
be a shame not to utilize them, right?
No, no, no. Of course, no,
Yeah.
no.
And is there any song in particular that you're excited for people to hear?
Well, we had Oblivion that was like the more rocky
Hmm.
rock tune. Well, it's in 7/8, but I mean,
Right.
it is prog.
As
But
it
I
is.
mean, it was like the more straightforward song. And we had Miramare that was
Yeah.
like the more proggy thing.
Yeah, which
Uh,
has been released. I think there's a single edit out there right now.
yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
Hmm.
And we will have the third single, but I mean, I think well, Beneath the Mast,
Yeah.
that is the
Yeah.
longer song. I think I'm really it is a special song,
Hmm.
and I think that will be. I really look forward to see what people will say. Also
Yeah.
skates on. Also
Yeah.
skates
Skates on.
on.
That's it.
That it's the more like it is like more of Beach Boys. I don't know.
Yeah.
I had Pat Sound in mind
Yeah.
on that, for the vocals, for that kind of stuff. So I mean
Okay.
that it's a weird song, and
Yeah.
but it turns out good. I mean, I
You
think.
know, it does sound weird maybe if I don't know, maybe on its own, but I maybe I've listened to too much prog because I didn't really stick out as out of place or anything like that. So
No, no, no.
yeah.
Yeah, it's true.
So when people I see you guys in this tour, what will you be doing? Will you be singing and guitar, or what's your going to be your role on stage?
Oh, I think I will sing in,
Yeah.
but I always enjoy playing keyboards and
Keyboards.
guitar, and yeah. I'll always have, and this was also a thing to make a difference.
Hmm.
David, he could play keyboards and guitar and the flute and whatever. And but live he was just singing.
Right.
And for me, having like a keyboard or playing sometimes with a guitar or doing something like that, it's helping the sound of the band, of course, but also it's also visually it's a different situation, and it's a situation where I'm comfortable because I've always done it, so it is make me maybe feel safe if I have a guitar.
Oh yeah, it's kind of your little protection.
Yeah, I can grab it.
Well, that's great. Hey, let me, we're getting to the hour here. Let me let you go. There's so much I can talk to you about, but let's kill it here. I want to thank you so much for all you've done. Not just thank you for the interview, of course, but thank you for joining the band and making the commitment to come to North America. It's not, like I said, it's not like 100% win-win touring these days. We understand that. So,
but we'll see. We'll see. I think. Yeah. I think this tour will go well. So it will be a success.
All right, I'm sure it will. Let's leave it there. If you could hang with me for 1 second.
Yep. It was great, and we didn't know we were in 4. And we ordered 4 dip,
oh no,
like 4 pitches. So it was huge.